the idea of self-care is rooted in the Black liberation movement, right? Like something that the Black Panthers made popular because of, understanding how oppression impacts, our full body wellness. So how can we create, programs in the community that speak to that directly?
I think it's also important that people remember self-care should be personalized. A lot of people think self-care is supposed to look a certain way, and self-care is not only to the extent of finances. I love shopping, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to spend $100 all the time or more just to cope with certain things because truthfully, I don't have the money. So there's other things that I have substituted for finances being the comfort or like my escape.
Yeah, definitely. I think another thing that sometimes happens is like people practice self-care when they're in crisis. It's like, I'm so stressed, I need to do self-care. So I'm curious for you all, like, how do you practice self-care like on an ongoing basis? Do you practice it on an ongoing basis outside of the space of like crisis and chaos?
So I try to do things that help me stay active. It helps me stay with a clear mind. So nutrition has been something that I've recently gotten into, which is not something that I ever thought would happen. That's how I know I'm getting old. and I've been really enjoying like cooking for myself and taking the time to mix my ingredients. And like every time I cook, I do different spices and I try different recipes, and I have definitely seen a difference in my energy. I've seen a difference in my skin, in my overall like health, in terms of like I don't feel anxious that much anymore, and it's really been helping. And I think that, like you said, a lot of times we're not really taught these things, and it's not taught as a form of self-care or wellness, and that has definitely been helping me.
Speaking about like cooking, for me, I like to recharge a lot. So I do isolate myself, but healthily. So I still balance it out with interacting with people, whether it's through the phone or seeing them another time, because I do postpone a lot of plans. Hopefully people who I make plans with don't see this. But because I really do enjoy my own space. So
yes. Yeah.
in terms of like cooking, people laugh when I say this, but I go to YouTube a lot for new recipes and dishes. And sometimes I'll type like Caribbean dish or like certain dishes that I'm looking for. And one, I'm gaining a new skill. I'm eating delicious food. And three, I can kind of say I can cook.
There was a time where I used to feel guilty about doing nothing because for me, like I'm an introvert, I recharge in silence. And there were times where I would just like spend a day like just, binge watching TV, probably Girlfriends, or just something like that. And I would just feel guilty. It's like I have so much to do, but I've since stopped doing that. And that's been really meaningful for me because like resting is part of the work, right? And I'm no good for anybody else if I'm just doing all of these things, but also I'm not resting so I'm of utility for other people. I'm resting because I'm worthy of it, right? My ancestors didn't go through what they went through for me, just to dig myself an early grave because I just keep going, going, going. So I'm curious, like when did these practices become practices? Who did you learn this from, and what role did your family play in that, if at all?
One thing that I do that I think it counts as self-care is that like every morning, like when I get up, I like make my bed and I make my space really nice. I mean, it's a dorm room, so it's not like a hotel or anything, but like I make my bed and, my roommates always make fun of me that I have like so many pillows and so many decorations everywhere in my entire space. But I just find that like, even if I'm just like sitting around, like watching Netflix or doing my homework, like just having like a space that's just like nice and clean and I feel good about it and I just feel comfortable, and it just makes such a difference to me.
This summer, once I started really getting into nurturing myself and taking care of myself, I started looking at natural remedies to certain issues. So I started focusing on my skin, on my hair. That kind of like inspired me to just keep going because I was like, my body is my temple, and I want to make sure that my home that I reside in, which is my body, will be at the same capacity that I was when I was 20, when I'm like 40 or 45 or 60. And I want to make sure that, I'm starting these things early so that later on I'm not playing catch up. It's kind of like I'm preventing certain things from happening, hopefully, by being healthy and picking these better choices. And it's like a long-term investment as well. So
my mom used to say that too, like my body is my temple. So I take back my earlier statement that I don't know if I learned this from anyone, because my mom used to say that all the time. And like eating was a part of it. And even like when she would just like disappear for a day, it's like, where did mommy go? And she comes back with a whole new hairstyle.
Yes.
But it was just like, it wasn't just about the hair. It's just like her taking time as like away from her family as a wife, as a mother, to just pour into herself. I'm like, oh, okay. And like, you don't owe us any explanation. Like, it is what it is. My father's holding down the fort. It is what it is. But I think that's something that's, you know, super, super important.
This also made me think back to how, for me, when I was younger, self-care started with maintenance with my parents. So my dad used to take me, he was the first person to take me to get my nails done, to get my eyebrows waxed. As my father, especially a man, showing me, you know, take care of yourself. I'm spoiling you. I'm like, oh, this is it. Like,
Yeah.
I thought every time I went to the nail salon, my dad was gonna pay. But I got, of course, in high school, and I'm like, okay, I gotta pay for my nails now. But it's just like stuff like that. And seeing my mom read at night, because that was her free time. So.
Yeah.
Before she would go to bed, she would read every night, and that's her passion. I listen to music every night. So I'm thinking about the environment and expectations my parents set for me. I see the similarities.
No, I definitely agree with what you said about if you look good, you feel good. Because I feel like if I really have a long day and I wake up early to dress up, the day doesn't seem as like heavy or like, I don't know, because I'm like, oh, at least I look nice. Not everyone's gonna see my outfit today.
Yeah.
But it definitely does help. So
Like, that's how I feel about Zoom. I'm the student who sits in the front in every class, because if I'm not in the front, I'm not paying attention. Like,
Right.
that's me. But I explain to a lot of people the reason why I'm still interested in classes virtually is because I'm getting dressed and I'm taking those steps to prepare myself to be on my laptop for an hour or more. When I come on to Zoom with a hoodie, totally different person. Like, I'm like, okay, like let's get this over with. But when I am dressed, I'm like, I'm ready to tackle it. Like, I am ready.